What is up, everybody? This is Jay again, here with some more thoughts for you. I'm trying to keep this one down to 25 minutes or less because my phone cuts me off at that point for some reason. So, I'm going to tell you a little story. I spent, I don't know, I'm going to be 49 here in August, and I've definitely spent more than half of my life in the prison system, okay? From the time I was 9 till about, 10 years ago, so right before my 40th birthday did I decide I was going to be done and finish doing my last stretch of time. Anyways, in the prison system, it works best for the cops, the guards, the wardens, the system to run things a certain way in there so that they stay protected and they don't have to worry about us as convicts on the inside, the inmates, too much, right? One of the things that they do is to make sure that as the people we stay segregated. The blacks get to stay with blacks, whites with whites, Mexicans with Mexicans, depending on what part of the country they're from, because the gangs don't get along. So they want to keep the gangs together. They all with the same gangs. They want to keep the racist people all with their same races. And they breed it like that so that we stay full of hate within the system. Here's the reason why. They tell us that if they put blacks with whites and make us live together in the same cells or make us eat together at the same tables, that would cause more problems, more physical problems, one-on-one with the different races, which would then lead to racial riots and whatnot within the system. And so they keep us to where whites only live with whites. We only have to eat at each other's tables. We all have our own sections in the day rooms. We all have our own TVs. The natives have a TV. The whites have a TV. The blacks have a TV. The Mexicans or the Paisas together have a TV. Literally, you got a day room. You got like 5 or 6 different TVs running around, all on different channels, so that, it keeps us, I don't know, for lack of better words, placid and not wanting to do anything, but no reason to fight, right? Not with each other, not with things over like a TV and whatnot. Now, as long as they keep us to where we are separated, divided as with our races, they let us go to church, different churches. They let us go, like I said, everything we do is allowed to be separate. We don't have to deal with each other, different races, except for on a passing, and then we don't talk to each other. We just pass each other. Yeah, we're all in the same yard, but we all have a different weight set. We all have different times that we use the diamonds or the basketball courts. And depending on, each prison is a little tiny bit different because depending on the warden will depend on what kind of rules are implemented all around. But as a whole, every prison that I've been to, and I've been to many, federal and state levels, juvenile, everything, from California to Utah, and then the feds all over. As long as they keep us to where we are focusing our hatred, our anger, our whatever we've got built up inside on the other races, other inmates, then we are not focusing any of that energy onto them as the system. And now, it works for them because they have, for the most part, anytime riots jump off in prison, it's not inmates against the guards. That's very rare that it's actually inmates against the guards. Usually, it's inmates against inmates. Maybe it's racial, maybe it's gang related. There's a whole slew of different reasons we might jump it off against each other in there for, okay? But it keeps our focus on each other rather than on the system and either how we're being treated or just maybe that we don't like the cops in there, whatever the case may be, okay? Now, in order for us to be able to live in this kind of environment and still actually live our lives, because believe it or not, we do have lives we have to live in there. A lot of us go to school, most everybody works, You got people that are trying to actually better themselves for their families. You got drug programs. You got work programs. There's a lot of different things that we do. And so it's not like we're just sitting in a cell doing nothing all day. We actually have to interact and do things around these other races, because even though they let us keep ourselves separated, it's not like they give us separate classrooms. It's not like they give us separate dining halls or separate units to live in. No, it's not like that at all. We still have to live amongst each other. We are just allowed to, form our groups so that we feel safe. Okay? Well, so in order for us to be able to live our lives still while being encouraged for this segregation type environment, this hate-filled environment, and believe, a lot of the hate is from us ourselves when we're in there, but a lot of it is brought into us by different guards, by different staff members, by the warden himself. Like, it's not just, they encourage us to be a certain way because it keeps us, like I said, it keeps us away from our focus, away from them. And so we as a people in there, I say we as a people, took all the people that had the most respect. They call them shot callers for each of our different fucking races, okay? And got together and we make a set of rules and it'll be different at each different prison and everything. A set of rules that everybody had to go by in order for us to be able to live in the situation that we were living. And it worked, okay? We took care of issues on our own. Anytime there was an interracial thing, each race would handle their own people and make sure they stay in line. But if it ever got to where there was more than one race mixed up, we got in there ourselves and took care of it. Very rarely, when I was doing my time, did I have to worry about a racial riot jumping off. When I was young and first went in, I did, but I had no say in things back then. As I got older and had more say in how things went, that was not so much of a worry, okay? My point is, though, that as much as everybody supposedly hates each other in there, we were able to live together. And a lot of times, look, it didn't, the racial boundaries would be broken because we knew things were bigger than that, okay? And so, it was real. You got people who are extreme that never wanted to talk to any kind of person from any other race. And then you've got people that were less extreme who were just doing what they do to survive in prison, but didn't really have a problem with other races. And then you got the people in the middle who were just like trying to do whatever. They're just trying to do their time. Our government is a lot like the prison system, and this is why I bring this up, okay? Because they are doing everything they can with the help of our media, and I'm not just talking about left wing, okay? Right now it happens to be left wing that is real big on everybody's scope on what's going on, okay, and who's spreading what. A couple years ago it was the right wing that supposedly was. And of course, everybody's right and everybody's wrong, and it doesn't matter, right? Because in the end, it's the government who is keeping us fixated on each other so that we're not paying attention to what they've got going on, to what they are doing, okay? And I tweeted this little thing earlier. Check it out. You take a frog and you put it in a pot of boiling water, a live frog. And automatically, because that water is so hot, that frog jumps right out. Gone. Can't keep it in the pot no matter what. But if you take that same live frog and put it in a pot of cold water, turn the fire on, turn the burner on underneath that pan, and let it boil with that frog in it from cold, that frog will stay in there and let itself be cooked all the way until it's dead and we're ready to eat it. I don't know if that's how you really cook frog. I've never eaten it, but anyway, that's the point. Now here in America, what are we doing? Okay? Gas prices are going up, what? A couple cents every week. I think 17 cents from last week, where that's not a whole, that's not a little tiny amount. It doesn't, when you say 17 cents, it doesn't seem like it's all that much, even though it is. All these little different things going on through America in America from our government on both sides of the aisle that we are not paying any kind of close attention to because we are focused on how hateful we all are as people. You know, we're either racist or we're bigots, or I don't even know what they're calling people on left sides. It's crazy. It doesn't matter, but there's always something amongst us, okay? And they take these policies, you know, like the Roe v. Wade court decision that's going on, and politicize it so much that it has people actually wanting to do other people's harm because they have a different opinion, okay? Now, I come from a place, I was raised in a place where if you do somebody harm, you're seriously doing them harm. You are not, I'm not talking about whooping somebody's ass because they were talking the wrong way and you just needed to let them know that's not okay. I'm talking about actually doing people harm. If it's not a stabbing offense, then drop it. Okay, that's the way we looked at a lot of things in there. And if it was a stabbing offense, well, I'm not this. That's for a whole different thing. Okay, but you got people. You never wanted to have a problem with somebody because they felt a different way, thought a different way, saw life through different eyes than you, because it wasn't worth stabbing them over. And that's what we have to think as people. Look, I know our opinions are strong, right? Let's take the Roe v. Wade thing, okay? I think I lean more right-wing with a lot of things at this point in time. I've been an independent. I'm always an independent. But as far as different things go right now, right-wing is kind of where I've been leaning. When it comes to Roe v. Wade, I'm a firm believer in my body, my choice. You will never put a vaccine in me, and that is the reason. Not another one. Not now. Not without me saying that it's okay. And for that reason, I feel like even though it's different lives that we're talking about, it's still the same situation. And I think we have to have that own right to choose. Now, my wife and I, we would choose life if it came down to it. Not everybody we know does that. Not everybody we know. I've got people real close, or a person real close to me that chose to have an abortion for reasons that I did not agree with. But do I love that person any less? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It is a decision that, even though it's not something that I would have agreed with or that I did agree with or support it, I still had to support that person that was close to me because that's what I have to do. And it doesn't matter. We're not all going to be the same. We don't all want to be the same. We have to be able to make that choice. And the thing is look I think if we let most people choose on their own, they'll choose what is right. I don't think it's as big of a deal as, and not just Roe v. Wade, I'm talking about all these laws that this government is putting out, all these different things that they're doing to get to divide us, okay? Listen, you can hate Trump all you want to, but the whole truth of the matter with Trump is that he's the only president from the right or the left that actually went against Congress and Senate and did what he thought was right for our country. Now, I know a lot of people don't like him. I've said this before. He is not one who ever would have sat down at my dinner table before he became president. I wouldn't have necessarily been friends with this dude. And not because he had money, just because he wasn't my type of people in that sense. That's fine. But then again, there's not too many people that are my type of people in that sense, so it is what it is. However, even with Congress and the Senate, or the Congress and the House of Representatives going against him as much as they did, and turning where he couldn't just put things through, he put in all kinds of executive orders to get things done, just so that things would get done. And you know, if we got a Democratic president, The Republicans fight them tooth and nail. If we've got a Republican president, the Democrats fight them tooth and nail. So what happens is we get all these promises right before the elections about they're going to do this and they're going to do that. And look at all these mass shootings right now. So we're going to get rid of take all your guys' guns and put these new gun laws out and whatever. And then when it comes time, everybody gets all hyped up, hating on each other because we have different opinions about it, and then they go and vote, and then nothing gets done again because still you've got half the Senate and half the Congress that are disagreeing with them just for the simple fact that they want to disagree. You get very few people that think for their own rather than for their party. Nobody wants to really deal with the people on this, do what the people need done, okay? And let's be, why I am on the subject of guns, let's just be real honest right here. What good would it do to take the guns away? Now, to impose an age limit, I don't know. I don't think I would say no, as long as they oppose the age limit for these kids to go into the draft also. It can't be, oh, you can have a gun as long as you're working for my agenda, but you can't have a gun if you want to work for your own. Because out of all the legal gun owners, very few of them have an agenda that is actually bad, okay? Let's be real about that. If you want to go ratios, everybody always wants to go ratios. Let's think about that. How many legal gun owners are in there to how many crimes are committed with legal guns? Somebody look that up and let me know in the comments if you want to, because it's a real question, you know? And being on the convict side, look, you guys aren't going to stop me from getting a gun if that's what I choose. I'm at a point in my life now where I don't carry a gun. But anytime I've ever wanted to, I can get it easier than most of you can get it from a shop. I ain't got no waiting period. All I got to do is come up with the cash and know where to go to get it. And it's really not that hard to do. So, yeah, the mass shootings need to stop. Definitely. And the shit in these schools, that needs to stop too. I'm not going to get into conspiracy theories about what's going on in those schools. I've heard a whole lot, read a whole lot more, and think a whole lot more myself, but that's for a whole different thing. The point is, no matter what the cause is, they need to stop. Is banning guns or assault rifles, and they're not even assault rifles, you know, they're Armalite. Everybody calls them an assault rifle, but that's not right. It's the brand, the company that made the gun. But anyways, is banning those and these clips, and then now they're like Trudeau and his handguns. Is that really going to stop the mass shootings? Or is that just going to make a little more money for the damn cartels where we're getting all our guns from anyways? Or is it going to make people, like how I used to be, start breaking into houses more to see if we can't find the guns that you got under your mattress, in your closet, in your drawers? Trust me, unless you've got it locked up in a safe with a trigger lock on it, that gun can go into somebody's hands who it shouldn't be in. So, let me just throw that out there. And the cartels, well, they're bringing us whatever we want, and they damn sure ain't putting no locks on them. Okay? As long as we got the money to pay for them, we're getting fentanyl, we are getting guns, we are getting meth. Hell, we've seen them, they busted a bunch of weed, even though I'm not sure why anybody's bringing weed over illegal, but you know, there's all this that we can get, and you guys that want to do these laws act like that's going to help. And I'm here to tell you, you're wrong. It's not going to help. There's got to be a different solution, because listen, and you really don't want to be the victim here, where you end up in a house that some asshole like me came in with a gun and decided he wanted what you had. Because not everybody just wants what you have. They want everything they can get. Whether it's your life, whether it's your sex, whether it's your property, who knows? But if they have a gun and you are not even, I mean, really. And, okay, and that's a small thing, because let's be real about the real reason that we have our guns, okay? We have our guns to protect from a government becoming tyrannical. To protect from a government deciding that the people no longer matter. Okay? And as soon as they take our guns from us, they will have a free-for-all to to pass whatever laws they want, whenever they want, and enforce them the same way. Okay? So, look at our government is ran like a prison system because it does its damnedest to keep us at each other's throats so that we are not paying attention to them. And that was the point of this video right here. So let me get back to that, okay? Because if they take our guns from us, if we allow that to happen, now they have full control over everything, okay? And the gun thing, look at, you can agree or disagree. Look, I don't have my gun rights, so I don't carry a gun. I carry a bow that I hunt with, and I've got multiple knives that I like, but I don't carry a gun, okay? So, to me, I have no personal interest invested in actually owning a gun. I have a personal interest invested in being able to protect ourselves from a government who no longer feels the people are what is important. This is important, okay? And so if they can look at, if the government continues to keep us at each other's throats, we don't pay attention to what they're doing. We don't pay attention to their New World Order thing they got going on. We don't pay attention to this little decision the WHO is trying to make. We don't pay attention to their videos, their interviews talking about how their goal is to reduce half the population of the earth so that we can be sustainable or whatever on our fossil fuels. Okay, we don't pay attention to any of these things. We don't pay attention to what's really going on with the vaccines and the results that were released from it. We don't pay attention to the politicians and the money that they are continuing to make year after year after year. Look at this. Okay, I got about 3 minutes left, so let's put that out there. When's the last time a politician went and pumped their own gas and had to buy their own stuff from the grocery store? And if they did do it themselves, actually had to worry about the price on it, okay? No. Joe Biden talking about he's just going to drive taxes up for the billionaires so they can pay their fair share. Meanwhile, what the hell is the rest of America doing right now, okay? And you can blame it on, look, first you blamed it on Trump and the pandemic at the same time. Then you blamed it on Putin and the ultra MAGA patriots. For a while there, it was the truckers' fault. Okay, it's never the administration's fault. It's never the government's fault because it goes on both sides regardless. And so I'm here to tell you. Let me relax a little bit since I got about 2.5 minutes left. Just like we did in prison, there is a way for the people to run things out here without interference from the guards, and in my case, the government in this case. There's certain laws you always have to abide by, absolutely, okay? And then there's more social norms that we should be abiding by. Not social norms, but you don't hit on kids, or, things like this that as a whole, most people will agree with an exception of the few that we don't care if they agree with it or not because they aren't a part of us as a whole, okay? We don't have to buy into the narrative. And this is where things come important. We can buy into the narrative and continue to live like we are, hating each other, letting the government raise our prices, our taxes, our gases, everything else, slowly but surely, and just cooking us like we don't even know we're being cooked like that damn frog, okay? Or we can unite as a people, stop buying into the narrative, and start doing things that will actually get the government to change their minds, I don't know what those things are right off. I've got a couple ideas that I've been throwing out to myself. I don't know for sure, but, it's just one of those things that as a people, we can figure it out together, but we got to stop letting them try to figure it out for us. That's the way it is. There's no reason for us to have hate for each other just for the simple fact that the government tells us one or the other or both are bad in their certain ways, or the media tells us, or our music tells us, or Hollywood of all places tells us. Because none of them people live how we as people are living. You see what I'm saying? We don't got to do it their way. because we have to live our lives for us. All right, everybody, that is it. Have the best of days, and as always, stay safe, stay sane, stay happy, stay healthy.